to get this out here quickly because it's not something that is really like grandiose or anything like that. It's just something that, typical internet stupidity. So, the new trailer for the new Fantastic Four movie comes out, and I myself, it looks decent, I guess. Hollywood does a whole thing where they reboot something. We've had, I think, like what, two Fantastic Four movies before this, and it's not much, but it does cement, like, this is the Fantastic Four, and they're a big superhero, like team, so they need their own movies to solidify. Excuse me, to solidify them. They're heroes, and this new reboot, it looks okay. So, I mean, I'm not too. I guess what I'm trying to say, I'm not too, convinced about it because it's been a while since I've seen anything Fantastic Four related. So, it's not something that I'm going to go out of my way to see. And plus, I didn't really like the first two movies that much. The Fantastic Four and the Fantastic Four Rise of the Silver Surfer. I didn't really like those movies that much. So, this kind of looks like one of those kind of, little, I guess, Spider-Man, like kind of like the Amazing Spider-Man, how it's still Fantastic Four, but it's kind of a different outlook on how things are going. And oh boy, people were really freaking out because one of the characters, Johnny Storm, the Human Torch, Flame Hog, which to me is one of my favorite, personal favorite, behind the Thing. I actually love the Thing because one thing, he's a big rock monster kind of guy. He's big and he's awesome. It's something I have to explain later, but I just like the Thing. He's just awesome, okay? And Johnny Storm, Human Torch is particularly he's portrayed as a white actor. So imagine the confusion and the rage when people figured out that he was going to be played by a black guy. And of course, typical internet fashion, you change anything, no matter how little or severe it is, people are going to freak out over it. And people were pretty much on a bitch fit around it. I saw on the YouTube thing, I mean, of course, again, it's YouTube. So, internet stupidity. And, you got some of the more, I guess you can say intellectual comments. I don't really have them because I'm being a little lazy here, big shock. Some of the more intellectual, asking why is he portrayed as a black actor. And, then you have those other very, like, pseudo-racist to completely flat-out fucking racist comment on why he's a quote-unquote nigger. And, to me, I see it as I don't care. And people are going to say that it kind of cuts against, the canon of the series because him and Sue, the Invisible Woman, are supposed to be, brother and sister. And it doesn't make any sense, to have a black actor, a black guy be, and a white girl be, brother and sister, even though there are a lot of interracial couples in America. And this isn't anything new, people. I mean, I understand that there have been black superheroes who have a predominantly, white, outlook. Like, for example, John Stewart, the Black Green Lantern. Or, how about the Black Spider-Man? I can't remember his name, but he's black, Mexican. He's African Mexican. I can't remember his name for the life of me, and I know the character. I know what the character looks like, but I just can't remember the name. I mean, this isn't anything new, and plus, what does it fucking matter? I mean, people are all up in arms about Ben Affleck being the new Batman, and it's because he's a bad actor. People see him as a bad actor. They bring up things, like Pearl Harbor and shit like that, but it's not because of his color. Most people probably don't even know who this actor is, and they're specifically saying that he's going to be a bad actor because of his race. And to me, that makes no sense. You don't judge people based on their ethnicity or their gender. You base them on their acting ability. Ben Affleck, to me, is not a very good actor. I'm sorry, I just don't see him as a very good actor. And that's not indicative of his race. I don't care that he's white and I'm black. I mean, I don't care who you are. If you're a good actor, then you're a good actor. It doesn't matter who you are. You can be a fucking alien for all I care. And people, it's okay if you don't, if you probably, if you know this actor and his abilities before, like, this movie, and you're judging him based on that. But I at least see a few comments who are the voice of reason saying that, saying things like what I just said. Don't judge him based on his color, because that's fucking stupid. For one thing, I mean, we live in the 2000s. We don't, at least I don't, judge people based on who they look like or their ethnicity or anything like that. I judge them based on what they do. Okay? So, this is just my 2 cents on this. It's really just typical internet stupidity. You change one thing. Of course, since it's like a superhero movie. For one thing, let me get this out of the way too. And The Amazing Alias said it better. Like almost 100% of superhero movies take liberties. They're almost nothing like their comic book counterparts. I mean, everyone loves the Sam Raimi Spider-Man. I love the Sam Raimi Spider-Man. Even Spider-Man 3, I think it's an okay movie, despite the fact people are fucking hating it. I actually do like The Amazing Spider-Man. Amazing Spider-Man 2 is on the it's on the other side. It's okay, but it kind of seems a little unnecessary once you look real deep into it. But like, seriously, like, look at those movies, then look at the comic books. You did pretty much every superhero movie. If you read the comic books, you're going to spot things that aren't there because it's a movie. Like, the typical stigma of comic book movies is that if it's a comic book, they make it like a comic book. But if it's a movie, they make it like a movie. And that's like the typical stigma of how things are. You can't really have a comic book movie without people trying to compare it to the comic book. That's just how things are. And it's the same thing that, like, I watch. There's not much of these that I have, to bring out as a subject, but I do watch, like, live action anime adaptations of movies. Live action adaptations of anime. Dragon Ball Evolution to me is the worst. It's absolutely the worst because, like, to put it bluntly to anyone who doesn't want to watch it, it's basically the first Spider-Man movie, but with very, 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 very vague, very vague Dragon Ball, like, aesthetics. It's like it's really typical. It's really cliche. It plays it safe, and it doesn't even feel like a Dragon Ball movie. Let's just say that. And I do watch, like, anime, like, live action anime adaptations of movies, and I mean, like, they have the same problems. You're going to be comparing them to the anime. Of course you are, because a movie is like a few hours. If you have an anime like, for example, like Death Note, that has like several chapters and volumes, then you're going to expect it to. They're going to try to condense all that into like a few hours. Of course, it's not going to be as good as what you think it is, and that goes for, like, comic books. There are different continuities of Spider-Man, and different continuities of, like, Iron Man, for example. Especially what we know today. And same thing for Fantastic Four. Like, comic books change over time, and, like, Hollywood is allowed to take liberties, even though I don't agree with some of these liberties. Human Torch a black actor. Oh well. I mean, I guess either you don't watch the fucking thing or you just suck it up and deal with it. Random Retro Suckers out.